You're listening to Supervision with a Vision, where we discuss all things supervision. I'm your host, Sarah, professional counselor, marriage and family therapist, play therapist, eating disorder specialist, and cookie lover, with my co-host, Heather, marriage and family therapist, certified Together in Texas counselor, a Texas transplant from California, and outdoor adventurer. Hi, welcome to Supervision with a Vision. Today, Heather and I are talking about how you can declutter your counseling practice. This week, we read Why Decluttering is Hard, published in Psychology Today, 2022. And Heather, the article is actually talking about cleaning.
Right.
But you and I were thinking about all of the things that counselors have available to them, or all the information coming at us recently. And we both agreed there is a lot out there, and not all of it is necessarily what we want, or is it high quality?
Right. I mean, I just recently talked to one of my supervisees about CEU she wanted to try. And number one, I had never heard of the company before, ever. And I feel like I have at least some wide range of companies I've seen. And I was like, well, how is that therapy? It was something where they're like combining something with therapy.
Yeah.
And again, lots of things get combined with therapy.
Yeah.
But this was like something about like adding something to your repertoire as a therapist so that you can talk more about like nutritional things, which are good. Again, there's
price over.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm good. But it was just like, it did not list goals. It didn't list like what was going to come out the end of it. It didn't list when it was
that
put
makes
on.
me wonder if it was even approved to be a CE provider.
Right. So I thought this is like questionable content, although marketed very well.
It was pretty. Yeah. I think I did this one time in a crunch. I needed a lot of CE hours in a short amount of time to make sure I met my deadline for licensure.
We all have to do that one time.
Well, it caught me one time. Yeah. I think it was right at the beginning of COVID, and everything just got away from me that year. I joined one of those membership things. I don't know if it's like monthly or yearly, but you pay something that doesn't feel too outrageous for what they tell you is like
many,
like a lifetime supply or a never-ending catalog of possible trainings. And most of them are cruddy or not even topics that I cared about or needed or applicable to me. So I did get what they advertised. It just wasn't what I hoped for.
Right. The content wasn't what you hoped for.
Do you get like a lot of flyer like junk mail?
Oh yeah. And I've tried to like stop and like unsubscribe.
I've never done that.
They just come back. You're only unsubscribed for like a year because you know what they use is the list of current providers.
Oh yeah.
So that's how they get your information.
So our state board is selling our information.
It is public.
Yeah. So there's a lot of CEs out there that maybe we just don't think are the right quality or the right content that we want.
Right. And I think something shifted in the last couple of years in the state of Texas where becoming a provider is a lot less difficult.
Yeah, it's easier.
I mean, that's what I meant. A lot less difficult. So it's easier.
When was that? I think that was like 2016 or 2015.
Somewhere in there.
They changed the requirements the state needed for you to be a continuing education provider. But I also think it makes a lot of sense to be a continuing education provider because it's income that you don't always have to actively be there for.
Right.
So where a session, you're there with the client and it takes the time it takes every single time. But that you might make money when you're not sitting at your desk or sitting in your office. But yeah, we have a ton of CEs out there that
may or may not be great.
What about do you think the same is true of credentials?
Yes.
Different certifications.
I think so many companies, even companies that before I would have said are good places to find your CEs, are now marketing being a specialist in this. Like you get a certification in elder care. Really? All of us took that class already, and what, like things like that, like you're doing it.
I think that's a different conversation. You took a class in elder care?
I did.
That was not a thing that was ever offered to me.
So
maybe not everybody.
Maybe not everyone had it.
Did you know that the American Psychology Association
approves or has a list of recommended credentials.
Oh, I think that I've seen it before.
Yeah. So not all credentials are created equal.
Right.
There are some that are endorsed or approved or okayed by the APA, and they have met different requirements or criteria in order to make that list, in order to be approved. And it's significantly, there's a wide gap.
Right.
That you could take a weekend-long training on elder care, underwater basket weaving, or whatever it is, and get some kind of participation certificate.
But what does that really get? Why is that important?
Right. Versus an APA-approved credential that you could then, it just means something different.
Right.
So how do you handle that when you have a supervisee who's like really excited and wants to go out and get lots of trainings, or maybe is asking like, I think I'm going to be a LMFTQB ZP, and you're going, I don't know what all those letters mean.
I think one thing to look at is really, would you be able to use that in a marketing way, because that's going to be your specialty. So the stuff that APA approves are things that are scholarly, they're researched, they're things that you are going to be identified as a specialist within the community for often. Sometimes these other companies that are offering certifications, like I am never ever going to put a certification that I took a elder care class in my bio. It's not going to be there. So like you're just thinking bigger term. Often I talk to supervisees about like, that's what you think right now, but is that really something that looks scholarly? Does it look like...
I think I say that, but I also add, do something that excites you.
Right. Find something that you're drawn to.
You know, of all of my credentials, I keep up with a lot of them, which is, I think,
that's the other part of being credentialed.
Like and part of why I say pick something that you're really excited by. Because if every year you have to do 10 more hours and a couple other things to maintain that, then do you really want to do that every year?
Right.
Or every other year? And I've thought with the number of credentials that I have that I'd really have to think long and hard about adding another one, because it's going to mean a whole lot more work.
Right.
And I am a certified infant massage instructor, and I keep up that credential every year. Because it's fun.
Right. Because you enjoy it. Yeah. And it's
it is known and recognized, but not necessarily for counselors.
Right.
More often nurses have that credential. But I like it and I enjoy doing it. And so I'll keep it up. But if I didn't enjoy doing it, I wouldn't keep it up anymore. It doesn't make sense for the most of the things that I do. I wouldn't get to apply it very often.
Right.
So you're saying, is it valuable?
Right.
And I said, is it interesting? I think connected to, is it valuable, but maybe not an obvious next step for everybody. I think you and I are both thinking it, that you want to know that it actually has meaning.
Right. Like it needs to have some kind of context for what we're doing.
Like right now, as a play therapist, there are a ton of new certifications that have sprouted up. Some of them are things like, actually, I'll name this one because it is nationally recognized, that you can be a registered play therapist. You can also be a SBRPT, school-based registered play therapist.
Okay.
And it is supported by our national organization. And I believe that it is an APA-approved credential. I'm not school-based, but I would wonder how advantageous it would be, because I don't think that the school system recognizes it.
Right. And the school probably doesn't have one space for what would be needed.
So I think that more and more schools do have play therapy rooms, but you're not going to get a raise for it.
No.
I don't think.
No.
You're not going to get...
It might make your job more fun or more interesting.
Right. So then, you weigh the three things that we've talked about. Is it valuable? Is it recognized? Is it enjoyable to you?
Right.
I think what you just said fits for me with the infant massage. That, no one's ever paid me more for it.
Right.
But do I apply it and think that it's useful and helpful for the clients that I see? I do.
Right.
And I enjoy it.
Right.
So to me, that's 2 out of the 3 that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Kind of makes it worth it to me. What do you think? What if you were going to go pick a new certification or credential that you wanted to go get? Is there one that like jumps out at you, or others that you've definitely said, no, I think I'll pass on that?
I have often toyed with EMDR on and off, but I've never pursued it because I've never seen myself using it full time. Like I've done plenty of like learning about it,
Uh-huh.
but I've never pursued the action because I was like, am I really going to use that? Is it really going to be something that I use? Even though it's a certified, I mean, it's a real thing, but I don't know that I personally would gravitate towards it.
I also think that's a good example in another way that when you and I started counseling, EMDR did not exist.
Right. It was like,
And then in the last, 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years ago, I would not have said that at that point it was well established.
correct.
Now it is.
Right. No, it's very different.
Mm-hmm. So you can't foresee that something might have more of a body of research behind it and become more established.
Right.
But at maybe 10 years ago, your thought process would be a little bit different. You'd go, well, it sounds pretty cool, but I don't really know about it. And
Right.
I don't even know anybody else who really thinks it's a great thing. But now you could say, oh, yeah, actually, I know lots of people
Right.
who
Yeah.
support it, find it valuable. The next point in our article, which fits talking about EMDR, is that we really like shiny things.
Yeah.
I mean, Heather and I, but also counselors and people. So there are all these new certifications and new trainings, and sometimes we just get caught up with, it sounds fun or cool or interesting.
Right. Or it's the new hot topic of someone's book or the new hot idea of something. And we know now that all those things come and go, but especially when you're brand new in this, you're a brand new supervisee. I mean, I don't know how it was for you, but I really did gobble up a ton of whatever the hot thing was at the time. Oh, I want to do that one. I want to do this one. Not that I was getting certifications, but it was like, oh, so-and-so wrote this book about, whatever. And then I had to dive into it.
Yeah. It's been a while now, she's fully licensed, but I had an associate or a supervisee that I didn't realize that she didn't tell me, but every single day she was going to a continuing education
That's
event,
amazing.
either in person or online. I thought so too. I thought that's some amazing coordination.
Right.
That you could find one, sign up for one, and make it happen so consistently.
Right.
But yeah, she was doing one every single day because everything sounded amazing and great and interesting and good. And I want to do that. I want to know about that. And the reason I found out was because she did eventually tell me because she was so overwhelmed.
Oh, I'm sure. The amount of information coming at her all the time.
And she couldn't apply it quickly enough. She couldn't incorporate the new information to what she knew. And so it just felt like it was just hitting her over and over, and her not being able to apply it or think about it, or it was just too much all at once. Have you ever gone to a training that you thought, oh, new shiny thing, and then not that great?
I've done a couple of them that I thought were like, oh, this will be like, oh, I think I'm into this. One of them was about psych meds and like brain biology. And I was like, I totally am a brain geek. I want to take this. And then I got into it and I was like, oh, now I'm here for 6 hours. Like, shoot. Like it was a very, very good course overall, but it was like probably could have been summed up in an hour. We probably didn't need 6 hours of it. So things like that. I've done that.
Yeah. I went to an EFT training. And now I can't think of the acronym.
Right.
Something family.
Emotionally focused.
Yes, it was. Emotionally focused.
Yeah.
Really good. I liked it. I did also leave thinking, wow, that was pretty long. And I don't know if I'm going to go for the whole credential.
Yeah. You're like, hey.
And I saw how it worked with the other things that I like to do with family, how it makes sense, how it was applicable. And I do like that now if someone asked about EFT, that I feel like I know enough. But I don't feel like I'm a pro at it, but I do feel like I could talk about it.
I just thought of something that maybe is a good distinguishing mark tying together our previous point and this point. If you're going to do like a credential, as I see a credential, versus a certification might just be like a one day class. But usually a credential takes a lot more effort than that. And that's one way to help newbies sort out the junk of, okay, this is just a one day, a one off. Not the information could be great. I mean, but that's the big difference between getting a credentialed in something and just having a certification.
I think there are organizations that maybe don't completely spell that out. Some do, some don't.
Right.
And you get partway through thinking that you're going to be a whatever it is. And then you realize, oh gosh, I maybe have just gotten myself into a 2-year commitment.
Right. How did I do that?
Yeah. That I do try to do that with all of my supervisees, even people who come to me and want to meet and say, I'm interested in being a registered play therapist. I definitely start out and say, there are lots of moving parts. I don't want you to waste your time, energy, or money So let's get really specific and have a plan
Right.
about how you can accomplish all of these things in a wise way.
Right.
So
That's
that you're
very
not
smart.
just like running it. Because, maybe I just really feel like this with play therapy. They all sound fun. Every
course,
training
right.
sounds like fun and good. And
I want to know about that. I want to
Yeah.
learn that. Yeah.
And if you run out and do all the ones that become available, you've probably, spent money and
Mhm.
time doing things that maybe don't end up helping you to move forward with that credential. I think the last person that emailed me and asked that question, and I said, send me what trainings you've gone to.
Mhm.
Let's make sense of it. See what
Mhm.
you have left that needs to be accomplished. And she sent me a pretty good long list. I was surprised. She probably had 30 to 40
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hey.
continuing education hours already for things that were play related. And when I looked through it, about 1/3 of that was not an Association for Play Therapy
Mhm.
approved provider
Okay.
and didn't count.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. So shiny things
Yep.
are exciting, but we
True.
have to be careful and thoughtful about what are we
Mhm.
picking or what are we choosing. Yeah.
Right.
Our last point is that decluttering makes you more efficient. And so remember, Heather, that our article is actually talking about cleaning,
Right.
but we're talking about in our practice as a counselor, when we declutter, we're also more efficient.
Right. When we can fine tune what information we're taking in or what we're focused on, we are then able to articulate it better back to our client or our supervisee, either way. But like you were talking about, one of your former supervisees having so much information being bombarded by taking a class every day or taking some kind, like you then aren't able to like assimilate that information into anything that makes
Yeah.
sense. You're just like, oh, I did this other class. Oh, yes. And this counts as ethics. And now this is something else. And you don't
Yeah.
get to absorb it.
Poor her, because then when I told her she was still a supervisee and didn't need any
Right.
continuing education, she was so disheartened. This makes me think, I think I was on the Association for Play Therapy's conference committee for maybe like 10 years. And what we did was we helped to choose what the continuing education that was presented at the
Right.
annual conference was. So we, went through all the proposals and picked the people that would ultimately present. Every single year, not just our committee, but the whole organization would have a voice and get involved in this tug of war between, do we want more presentations on theory or do we want more presentations on techniques?
Interesting.
And we were divided 50-50 almost all the time. And there were strong opinions for either side. But I think the argument for theory was always that you could just give like a list of techniques or like you could do that. But if you don't really know what you're doing with the technique or you don't
Don't know
really
why.
know why, then how effective is it?
Right.
I remember it was at a hospital, and my office, of course, the play therapist was full of all kind of fun stuff and toys and games and things. And so I would have associates or younger, newer counselors all the time would peek in and go, they just told me I need to run this group.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, can I borrow your whatever? And part of me was like, no, because you're tearing up my stuff, my
Right.
toys. But also they didn't know what to do with the tool.
Right.
And so then they weren't really using it very effectively or helping with the tool. And so I did at some point, not every time, but at least some of the time, depending on what they were asking me to borrow, would sometimes begin to say no and say, it won't really work. It's like somebody else telling you how to paint a picture.
Right.
You have to paint your own picture. So I can give you this ball, but what you do with the ball is totally dependent on what you know how to do with it.
Right.
Not what you saw me do with it or a technique you read in a book. So that's what I think of when I think of decluttering, that you can have a ton of stuff. You can have an office full of all the fun toys or whatever games, or you can have a whole book full of techniques. But if you don't really know what to do with them,
exactly,
it doesn't make it more effective or efficient.
Too much information is not good.
So how do you do that for yourself? Do you try to declutter? Do you try and get rid of extra?
I mean, I try and like pay attention and get rid of what I don't need, or as just in the bulk emails coming through, but sometimes I'll flag stuff because, I think that's interesting. Oh, I could learn a new breathing technique by doing yoga and therapy. Cool. And learn something. But I figure this, if I haven't taken an action step on it and it's just hanging there in my inbox, I just need to junk it because it wasn't important enough. Those things always come back through.
Interesting. I think I'm going to maybe keep thinking about that after we're done today, that it doesn't mean become stagnant.
Right.
We are all still growing and learning new ideas and techniques and things, but how to strike the balance between what is helpful and adds to what you're doing and what is fluff and a distraction. Did we just do a Marie Kondo?
We might have. We just had a little moment.
Does this bring you joy?
Yes, it might.
But I think that would fit, right? That if you found a technique or a CE or something that you could combine with what you already do or the things that you already know in a way that was meaningful, then it's not clutter.
Right. And you might be taking care of yourself, getting rid of burnout, finding a new way to engage with your client or your supervisee.
Well, thanks today for listening to Supervision with a Vision.
You've been listening to Supervision with a Vision. Head on over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy Academy to join the conversation and get show notes. We'll be back next week with more Supervision with a Vision.